Since the Christchurch quakes, it's never been more obvious that wherever you are, you need to be prepared for disaster. Civil Defence has long told us that being prepared includes having a getaway kit, packed and ready, which contains food, water, a first aid kit and other essential supplies. But despite Civil Defence's best efforts, most Kiwis have no such kit ready and waiting, even though one day their lives could depend on it. You can buy survival kits on the net though, and tonight Target will product check 4 of them. All New Zealand made and all advertised as being suitable for 4 people for 3 days. The prepare.co.nz kit was the cheapest of the 4 at $265. Next up is the Ready for Anything home kit at $298. The Plan to Survive backpack survival kit cost us $320, while the Survive It kit was the priciest at $347.44. We'll see how well they follow what Civil Defence recommends should be in a getaway kit. We'll compare their radios and their lighting supplies and get an expert to assess their first aid kits. We'll also compare their food and water supplies and get our Product Check family to taste test their food, so you don't have to. But first, what are the odds that one day you might need to use a survival kit? Thankfully, they're not that high, but then again, that's what they said about Christchurch. Yes, aside from the frequent floods and extreme weather we often see, Civil Defence estimates in the next 50 years, Auckland has a 4% risk of a new volcanic eruption. Mount Taranaki's risk of an eruption is 30 to 50%, and Wellington has a 15% risk of a major earthquake. And as this map shows, there are active faults in all regions except Northland. Which is why Civil Defence says we need to be prepared, and why, if you have to leave home in a hurry, you need a getaway kit close at hand. So how much of what's in their checklist were found in our 4 survival kits? For starters, all 4 had torches and radios with batteries, but as for spare batteries, the Survive It kit had none. Civil Defence also recommends getaway kits have emergency water, but 2 of our kits only had water purification tablets. As for toiletries, none of the 4 supplied soap. Stinky! And only 2 had tissues for toilet paper. Awkward! Now, one of the most important items in any survival kit is a battery-powered radio to keep you informed of any Civil Defence updates if the electricity goes down. All of our 4 kits supplied one, but which has the best reception? To find out, we travelled to 4 Auckland locations and found the Survive It radio had the clearest reception and the Plan to Survive radio the fuzziest. Without electricity, you also have no lighting at night, which could make an already scary situation much worse, especially for kids. We thought the best lighting was supplied by prepare.co.nz. A torch, batteries, spares, candles, matches and glow sticks. And the worst, supplied by Ready for Anything. Just 1 small battery-free torch and 6 glow sticks. Good for a rave, not for a disaster. Another key essential is a good first aid kit to patch up any minor injuries you may sustain during a disaster or the cleanup. We asked the St John ambulance instructor to assess the first aid supplies in all 4 kits, and again, the best performer was prepare.co.nz.
It had bandages, it had dressings, it had gloves, it had some saline dressing as well, and for the types of injuries that you might be getting in a natural disaster, that was going to be able to cover most of the scenarios you might come across.
The worst, he thought, was that supplied by Plan to Survive.
It had very, very few pieces of material in there that would be of any use in a disaster situation. It didn't have gloves, it didn't have bandages, it lacked a lot of essential gear.
Finally, you won't survive very long without food and water, so how do our 4 kits compare when it comes to the bare essentials? Cold baked beans. As we noted earlier, only 2 supplied ready-to-drink water, with the other 2 solely providing water purification tablets. That said, those 2 kits could provide the most drinking water in total, and Ready for Anything the least. As for food, 3 of the 4 kits solely supplied 4 slabs of extra long-life high-energy rations, whose 3 key ingredients are enriched flour, vegetable fat and sugar. Yummy! Ready for Anything, meanwhile, gave us this backcountry brand hiking food, mainly freeze-dried recipes, which we note would require more precious water to prepare. So, how does it all taste? Our Product Check family will tell you after the break. Our Product Check of 4-person survival kits continues, and now we want to know what their food actually tastes like. To tell you, here's our Product Check family, the Drews.
The Mayday food had quite a nice flavour. It sort of tasted like an oatmeal shortbread, but it was actually very dry.
The Mayday was my least favourite because it was really hard and gluggy in my mouth when I ate it.
Mainstay rations initially had the most pleasant flavour and it was a bit more moist. However, the aftertaste was just a little bit too sweet for me.
The Mainstay wasn't as bad as the other one. It was still really dry, but it was really sweet.
The backcountry food was a mixed bag really. The beef wrap, for example, was very stodgy and I didn't really like the texture.
I really liked the muesli and yoghurt. It was quite tasty and had nice bits of apple in it.
It was the best out of the bad bunch, but if I was starving, I could probably eat it.
So, Ready for Anything's backcountry food was easily the Drews' preference. Combining that score, though, with ours for price, contents, radio and first aid quality, as well as nightlight and water quantity, and the prepare.co.nz 4-person 72-hour survival kit wins tonight's Product Check.